You know what's crazy? For the longest time, Order of Ecclesia was the only Igavania title without a ridiculously broken any percent speedrun. There were some small tricks to save time, but a good run was a normal playthrough, played quickly. The Dominus Collection has made the Castlevania DS trilogy more accessible than ever, and a whole bunch of new players are investigating these games for the first time. Like Algorithm, who discovered one small oversight that has led to a major domino effect. And in just 1 week's time, Order of Ecclesia any percent has turned from basically glitchless into one of the most ludicrous routes of any Castlevania speedrun. To be clear, all the tricks we're going to talk about today can be done on any version of the game. These were not introduced by the DS collection. There is something unusual about Ecclesia's boss rush mode. In Dawn of Sorrow and Portrait of Ruin, you're given a fixed inventory to work with. In Order of Ecclesia, though, you actually have access to whatever consumables you collected in the main story. Now, of course, the game prevents players from using items like, say, magical tickets that might have weird side effects. Right? Well, turns out, if you press the D-pad one frame before pressing the item select button, you'll get the yes/no dialogue prompt for the adjacent item instead. All of a sudden, you can use magical tickets in the boss rush, returning Shinoa to the village with the timer still ticking up. Boss rush always starts you at level 50, so by warping out, saving, and reloading, we get to continue where we left off and keep those levels. This is already a game changer. Those dozens of extra level ups give us way higher stats to work with for combat and for moving around quickly. But we're just getting warmed up. From here, we travel on towards the lighthouse, and not much can stand in our way. Unfortunately, there is no crab skip. Well, unless you're speedrunning New Game Plus, but that's a different video.
Go to hell.
So how about we skip a few whole areas instead? We go back to boss rush, refight Arthur Verta, and now fight the crab. We fight Maneater too, but afterwards we break out of boss rush a second time. See, normally the doors around the boss arena would be locked, but by leaving and returning via the world map, the doors are open. The lighthouse still has the serpent scale we need for underwater movements. And here we just warp back to the end of Skeleton Cave for double jump. The channel, the mountains, the forest, the cave, all skipped. Next, we do the same thing again, breaking out of boss rush to warp from Rusalka to Goliath, and skip the giant's dwelling. Now, I haven't mentioned the villagers yet. Ordinarily, the whole point of the game is to rescue a bunch of people that Albus is frozen in place, which ends up being pivotal to the plot. We don't do that anymore. Saving the villagers, too slow. Instead, this happens, and I'm not even sure why this works, but here goes. Number 1. Fight Albus. Number 2. Break out of the bad ending cutscene. Number 3. Revisit Albus's corpse. Then get the bad ending. Yes, you do have to watch all of these villagers you left behind. Number 4. Fight Albus a second time. Number 5. Skip past the glitched cutscene, and just like that, you'll end up on the good ending routes. Dracula has returned, and if we were playing by the rules, our goal would be to traverse the castle, collect 3 Cerberus glyphs, and use them to unlock access to the final approach. Instead, we're gonna do something completely different. We'll make our way to Wallman as intended, but on the way we're going to farm some Black Panther enemies for the Arma Felix glyph. After collecting Felix and the warp near the Forsaken Cloister, we're ready for one final visit to the boss rush. What you're about to see, you may not even believe. I'll let the footage speak for itself, and then we'll break it down.
That is quite entertaining.
To summarize, if you break out a boss rush and save, then load that save into boss rush, you'll play as Albus rather than Shinoa. If you happen to have a transformation glyph equipped, Albus can fire his gun, and the gun will transform Albus into Shinoa. Shinoa can then magical ticket warp, go back to the castle, and with death defeated and the timer active, the path to the final approach is open. The rest of the run is what you'd expect. Make your way towards Dracula, grab Velaticus on the way for flight, and then lightsaber your way to victory.
Now is the time of your demise.
More new discoveries are on the way, I'm sure of it, but I wanted to go ahead and share all the insane developments Ecclesia has gotten since the Dominus Collection launched. What an exciting time it is for Castlevania.